Craig's big thing. Is the fact that they have that C 501c3 or I don't know what it's called. And they never want to lose it.
Right.
So, I mean, that's. Yes. Big hard.
Oh, yeah.
They're a little bit.
It's 5%. So you got some-
We lost Gary somehow.
Maybe not. And yesterday,
Go, man.
Why would it never got signed? Like there was one on that.
But she didn't want to go.
I didn't want to. Well, she knew what her diagnosis was. She was going. She didn't really want to.
And she had actually. A year.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to our first April meeting. Nice to see everybody here. Hope everybody's had a great day enjoying that nice weather we've been having before the rain did tomorrow. But we'll talk about the nice weather rather than rain. The Cereal City Lions Club is of Battle Creek. It's a community service organization that supports and promotes community involvement and provides assistance to persons with sight, hearing, diabetes, and other impairments, as well as supporting zone, district, state, and international projects. Madam Secretary, do we have attendance? And
Attendance is done. We only have Jerry Mackey on Zoom.
Yes.
So we have one person on Zoom. And I had two spelling corrections on names. That's the only corrections I got from the minutes. So I will file them as after I make those corrections.
okay, all right, thank you. Okay, birthdays this month in April. We have Jim Cox, who's not here, and we have Lion Diane Sweeter back here, who is here.
So like the next meeting you can cover it, okay? Not until the last 2 days of my 60th.
Okay, so would you like us to say to you this meeting or next meeting? Okay, so noted.
Younger, a little bit longer.
All right.
Yeah, let's not push it.
Okay. All right, how about our members? Are we good singing happy birthday next meeting versus this meeting? Okay,
I move, we say next meeting.
okay, all right. And Diane, we'll make sure to pick you up, so you will be here that meeting. Be something too.
I will go.
Okay, all right. Okay, if everybody could stand up, we have a pledge here tonight, and Muriel Walters is leading that for us.
Thank you very much. I haven't done this since I was a teacher in the 4th grade, and every morning we would say the pledge, so this is a real honor. Thank you very much.
We'll try to stand still.
Okay, ready, begin. I pledge
allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America
and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And invocation.
Let us pray. Thank you, Heavenly Father, for bringing the members and friends of our club together. We are so fortunate to have a very active club. The month of April will be a testament to that fact. Tonight, we will elect our officers for the 2024-25 year. We will talk about the highway cleanup, our white cane collection, district training, a district bowling party, eyeglass collection, our zone meeting. Please bring us together in good faith. We pray for the great works of Lion Mary's committees and her service as president of our club. This evening, Lion Red O'Leary will share Travels of Red. May he be successful. We thank you for our absent members, if they are sick, may they heal. Thank you for this lovely venue and the staff who serve us. We are grateful for the wonderful convention Annette Hemrick had. We were happy with the results. As we leave for home, may we find ways safely. May we never forget our Lions motto, we serve, and International President Dr. Patty Hill's wish for 1.5 million members and changing the world. Thank you for our many blessings. Amen.
Okay, thank you.
We have Karen Wallace, I think, on Zoom.
And Karen Wallace is zooming in tonight. All right. Hi, Karen. Welcome. All right. Okay, let's go around and see who's here tonight. I'm Brian Cook, your president.
Jane Cook, Serial City Lions Treasurer. Mary Wallace, Serial City Lions. Not sure quite what I am tonight. Jane Crawl, Serial City Lions.
E. Davis, Serial City Line. Mr. President, if I may, I have one comment. You kind of looked over the crowd and then you said, if you can, stand up for the flag, for the pledge. I wasn't sure what that meant, if you can, as you looked at us.
Derek Dean, Serial City Lions.
Serial City Lion, Teresa Guest.
Serial City Lion, Hope Swank.
Serial City Lion, Scott Swank.
Serial City Lion, Bob Ward.
Serial City Lion, Maureen Baca.
Serial City Lion, Roger Spriggs.
Serial City Lion, Harriet Spriggs.
Serial City Lion, Diane Elliott.
Serial City Lion, Kay Smith.
Serial City Lion, Diane Sweeter.
Serial City Lion, Brian Trainer. Serial City Lion, Mike Gusak. Serial City Lion, Red O'Leary.
Serial City, Kay Kelly Martin. Serial City Lion, Dorothy Bosley. Serial City Lion, Ronnie Grobel.
Serial City Lion, Muriel Walters, and member of Bedford Area Lions.
Serial City Lion, Roger Bossy, and we have Gerald Mackey, Jerry Mackey, and Karen Wallace on Zoom, I believe.
Nice turnout.
Give us a little pan on the Zoom. Everybody wave to Jerry and Mary.
Hello.
We can wave a Mary too.
Hi, Jerry. Hi, Mary.
I don't know if I have the sound on here.
All right, thank you. All right, as Muriel alluded to, this is a busy month for Lions. There's a lot of things going on in the club. Just roughly, I roughed out 50 Lions events that are happening with things, and we appreciate everybody's input on that, and we'll talk more about those as they come along. So we're gonna roll right through a lot of these. And first of all, it is election night, so we're gonna start right off with our elections for election committee. Let's have a big hand because they do a lot of work for Red O'Leary and Mike Russo. Help you, Red. Does everybody have a ballot? Safe on those or?
No, just the, if you wanna vote for everybody, just a single check mark at the top. And, then you don't have to go put 100 checks on there. And then there's a write-in at the bottom, if you, ideally have spoken with that person, if you plan on writing in.
I think that was how Paul was, was everybody else step back.
Okay, if everybody can vote and we'll come around and collect the ballots. And then we will have the results at the end of the meeting. Ballot.
Putting the new foot in, so it's nice. Yeah. It'd be awesome.
Goes through the way it's written. Here we go.
Any other ballots?
Got everybody's?
We got everybody? One,
Okay, now, so it's looking great.
Okay, could be an exciting election. All right, we're all fired up for that, all right? Roger Spriggs just wanted to talk about the line of the year, also ballots. Just a quick,
Yeah, you already mentioned it, Brian, but
Yeah.
just remind everybody that midnight tonight's the end date for getting your line of the year ballot in. We'll count them up tomorrow and we won't announce the results until the last meeting of June. So we'll present the line of the year to the deserving candidate.
okay, so make sure everybody's voted or see Roger if you haven't, okay? Last Saturday was our District 11B1 convention over in Jackson. It was very well attended this year. They had over 120 people there from all the different clubs. We had 13 of our Lions that were there. We were the biggest contingent in the district, so congratulations on that. We had several of us that brought home some hardware from there, some of the awards, so that was very, very good. Hope had an award, Teresa had an award, Roger had an award, I had one. So it's nice to get recognized, mainly as a club for what we're doing over here, and they really appreciate it. And you'll hear more on that. Anybody else that was there want to make comments on anything? Roger?
You forgot the important stuff that Swank was recognised as our new zone chair next year.
Oh.
We suggested our second vice district governor elect.
That's right. Yay. They will take over officially at the banner exchange in July. So. Gary?
I'll just tell you one thing, one of our past district governors, Vicky Ruiz, is known for her lemon cake. And when she walked through that door and we saw she was empty-handed, Dorothy, Bossy and I ganged up on her. And
There were no blows thrown. She knew we were unhappy.
yeah, and so she had tentatively agreed that for our last meeting in June, if I bought her dinner, she would bring the cake. And so we thought, great, we got it made. And then they did the dessert auction and she had Dick Detling, who was the auctioneer, write up a thing and we had to pay for it. Roger Bossy ended up bidding the top bid, so we as the clubs paid $65 to have Vicky Ruiz come, but her cake is worth it. I just thought,
All right, we'll look forward to that in June.
And we offered to pick it up, but she said she'd really like to come to the meeting. She said she really enjoys coming over, so.
Yep.
That's a
Everybody
nice,
likes
nice
to
thing
come.
for us.
Where is she from?
Okay.
Napoleon, or no, Michigan Center, Michigan Center, I think.
Yeah, that's where.
Isn't it?
Napoleon
Is she? Okay.
and.
Okay,
Brenda Lyons.
So, yep, so it was a real good convention and, you know, Annette did a nice job. It was all turned out pretty well for that day, right?
Many of us went home with desserts that mine are still in the freezer. I don't know how Scott did this, but I managed to save some of mine.
Yeah, they have the raffle bucket auctions and several of us won things from there, and they have the dessert auction where you can bid on cookies and cakes and stuff.
But one of the unique things about this convention was that it was in one day. Rather than sometimes there's a Friday night and then a Saturday. And this was from 9 to 3. So they packed a whole lot of things into a short period of time. And that's sort of a trend these days in Lions clubs is to and districts to try to shorten these conventions up, not only saves money, but time because everybody's busy. And so you know, it was just something new that we'd never done before, I don't think, in our district, really.
No.
So.
And if I could make one more comment, the keynote speaker, they lost her drive, so she did not have any film or no PowerPoint, but that she just winged the whole thing, and she was amazing. She had everybody just like ready to have her come speak to their club. She was great, from Arizona, and I think she has not been a Lion that long, but she came from a long line of Lions. So it's very, very
One of the
good.
international directors did a very nice job
Yes.
promoting Lionism and firing everybody up. So, okay, moving along, Zone Chair Teresa Guest has a lot of things on the agenda, possibilities. You want the mic? Here you
A
go.
lot,
Yes. Yes, if you could, it works better for Zoom.
Okay, break out your calendars and a couple ink pens, because we're gonna use all the ink. Hold on. Okay, so first we have the bowling activity this Saturday. It is a fundraiser in Jackson. And so I know we have put together a team and we have some cheerleaders that are going this Saturday. So if you are one of those cheerleaders or one of those Lions that will be bowling, if you'll meet shortly afterwards so we can talk about transportation, that would be great. But that should be a lot of fun. We put a basket together as one of the prizes. It's gonna be fun.
What time is it?
Registration starts at 1:30. So we'll need to leave by 12:30, but we can talk about that. So if you want to go as a cheerleader or you're going as a bowler, meet afterwards. Eyeglass collection, we have, we're gonna tie that in with another zone meeting on April 22nd. We're gonna start with a zone project and that will be the eyeglass. If you've done this with us before, we sort them and then we box them. It's really fun. If you haven't done it, come see what it's about. It's a good time. That'll start at 3 o'clock. We'll have Lions from other clubs there as well, so you'll get to meet some of your partners from other clubs. Right after the eyeglass collection, we're going to follow up with a zone meeting. Tentatively, we've got our own Roger Bossy on the hook as our speaker. So come enjoy dinner. I think we're asking for a donation of at least $10 per person. Is that correct?
Yeah, we're still working out the meal. What we're gonna have about $10. We'll cover that because Bedford also is having coffee and water and probably some cookies or something while we're doing, you know, in the afternoon, like no classes, so, and then all that money will just parlay into the meal.
Okay, so it'll happen on April 22nd at Bedford's Clubhouse. Yep.
Where we lived at.
Okay, just a reminder, we are helping one of our clubs that's kind of struggling to get back on their feet. So we're helping them by participating in their onion sales. So if you're hungry for some onions, you want some onions in your cupboard, I've got the sign up. You can sign up for as minimally as 5 pounds, and I think the biggest option is 25 pounds. So if you're interested in onions, come see me. The other thing that we're doing to help them get back on their feet is their white cane. They didn't have enough people to help out to accomplish their white cane drive. So I have a sign up sheet for that as well. That will be happening May 10th and May 11th. And I think there might even be a slot left at Louis. So if you hurry, you can get in that slot. So I have onions and a sign up sheet for white cane and bowling meeting to follow. I think that's it.
Okay, again, if you have any questions on those, make sure to give Teresa a call. We can help you out on that. Also, along with the zone update is on Sunday, April 21st is the host 100th anniversary celebration. And that is at the Battle Creek Regional Museum. That's from 12 to 4, so Sunday afternoon on the 24th or 21st. That Sunday, if you can slide down there. Craig Bishop's been working real hard, and I've seen a few things on that. But he's put together a nice display of the Lions Club history, and he's very proud of what he's doing, and so it'd be a good thing to go down and check it out. And that's the Sunday, the 21st at the Battle Creek Regional Museum. Couple updates on some of our members. Also, Jim Baum. Jim Baum is still at the Oaks. He has been moved to,
He's not at the Oaks anymore. He's at
the Legacy.
the Legacy.
The
Right, that's
Legacy.
a different building.
Okay, which is a different building. It's still at the Oaks, but it's a Legacy portion.
It's still at North Point.
Room 319, okay, at the Legacy is
Right.
where he is. It's nice, he appreciates all the visitors that come up to see him. Monday, he's having a surgery for his foot. He's having real problems with his left foot. It's been infected for a while, and they've been loading him up with antibiotics, trying to get that cleared up. It doesn't seem to be doing much good. I talked to his son yesterday, and the surgery on Monday is supposed to be to try to increase the circulation into that foot, so that maybe the antibiotics will work a little better. And then we'll have a follow-up with that. If it's not successful, then they have to do something different. But his surgery Monday is to try to increase the circulation down in his foot. So appreciate all the thoughts and the prayers and the visits out to Jim. All right. And Muriel, I don't know how many she talked about Muriel. This would be her last meeting for a while, except she's going to join us on Zoom. She's scheduled for back surgery here in a couple weeks. So again, keep Muriel and all your thoughts and prayers as well. Okay. Okay.
Or what?
Highway cleanup. Highway cleanup, because we have so many things going in April, I tried to move this down to May. And so I called the state people, the Adopt a Highway people, and the answer came back was, okay, sure, you can change it. You can have it in May, that'll be fine, but you have to take care of your own trash. And I said, well, we don't want to do that, because apparently during these weeks that they schedule by the state, that then they contract with the trash companies in the areas so that they watch out for those bags of trash along the highway. All right, so we're back. So we didn't really want to I didn't want to take care of our own trash. So we're back to the scheduled weeks for the Adopt a Highway State People, and that is starting Sunday. So we're gonna do this Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday. There's a sign-up sheet on the back table there, if you can help on that. Kind of like we've done before, it works real well, 3 different times, Sunday afternoon from 2 to 4. And we'll meet at the old Horrocks building there. We'll do Monday morning. We'll do the big section down by the cars on that. And then Tuesday evening from 5 to 7, we'll do the last middle section on there. So if you can help with that, make sure you sign up on the sheet. And I have everything for that. I got the vest, I got the bags, I got the gloves, I got everything that we need for that. We just need to know who's gonna show up when. So if you can help with that, I appreciate that. Right? Just a plug here, this is another DPW environmental group that we help with the recycling. I got an email from Bessie that they're having a Let's Plant a Tree Day. And that is Saturday, April 20th. There's some flyers on the back sheet if you'd like to do that. They're planting, what is that? I think 500 trees samplings at the boat launch there at Jackson and Bedford. So there's a boat launch and a little pull-off area there on Bedford Road in Jackson. And I drove by there and they cleared out a lot of trees along that river there. And what they're gonna do is replant these native species, so the bad stuff doesn't come in, they just have good stuff. So if that's something you might be interested in, I'm just putting a plug out there for that. That you do have to sign up. They wanted to sign up by the 15th on that, so they'll know how many people are coming. Okay, and if that's something you'd like to do, grab a flyer and send them an email. And White Cane's coming up, so I'll let Jane talk about the White Cane collection.
Yes, White Cane will be Friday, April 26th and Saturday, April 27th at Horrocks. There are sign-up sheets back with all the other sign-up sheets. So hopefully the shifts are an hour and a half. And feel free to do 2 shifts if you want, but 1 is good too. Thank you.
And if we get more people than they are signed up, you know, we can always add on or adjust the times on that too. All right, so, and the White Cane collection is at the new Horrocks. If you're coming Sunday to pick up the road, that's at the old Horrocks over on Monroe. So, all right, Roger Bossy, got some training coming up.
All right, I have 2 things on the list here, I guess. I'm gonna start off with I'll start off with training. So training is, the district training is gonna be April 25th, Thursday evening. It's at Vandercook Lake at the high school, middle school, and it starts at 5:30 with dinner and welcome from District Governor Annette. And then our sessions start at 6 o'clock. There are 2 sessions. There are 2 segments of sessions, 4 classes each session, okay? So the first session, there will be a membership roundtable. There will be, I don't have it in front of me, but let's see. I think it's a it's a treasurer. There will be a My Lion or the new portal preview from Dave Hill, because they're gonna roll out the new portal in basically April and May, and it'll be fully implemented by the middle of May. So anybody that's a secretary or thinks about being a secretary or president who also have access to this part of LCI might want to look at that. Let's see, I'm trying to think of the third. A tail twister, I believe, is the other session in the first segment. In the second session, there will be a president, vice president training. There will be another roundtable called Serving Beyond the Club. So we're going to have people, Scott and Hope have agreed to do this, and we have others talking about the benefits of going out of the club and participating in outside activities, not just in your club. I mean, club work is really important, and that's what Lions are all about. but there are a lot of advantages to get from going outside, going to conventions, going to conferences, forums, those sorts of things. So those should be pretty interesting sessions actually, because it's going to be more people discussing things rather than a talking head at the front of the room waving papers around saying you have to do this and LCI says that. So these are real life experiences. One of the ladies that is coming for the membership is from Grass Lake, and they had a community meeting where they talked about Lions and what the Lions do for the community. They were down to about 7 or 8 people, and they ended up recruiting 17 new members that all came in the same night. So it's pretty interesting. And a lot of the clubs in the area are looking at doing something similar. So it's going to be an interesting discussion. We're also doing a time management session. This is Kelly Luby, past district governor Kelly, and she is finishing up her FDI certification. So this is a seminar that she's going to be actually judged on for various elements of her presentation. So, and then Dorothy's going to be doing the secretary training in the second segment. So, and then so that's it. So I've got a sign up back there. We have a link that we've sent out on some emails, but you can also just put your name down and what you'd like to take, because we do need to get a count of how many people are going to be there so that we know how many materials to make and how much food to order and all that sort of stuff. So we want people to be signed up by the 19th of April. Okay,
Roger, may I share one thing?
sure.
Dave Hill is planning on having the portal opened and going through it with everyone. There are YouTube kind of clips that go along with it on how to put in your service hours, how to maintain your LCI, how you do your MyLion, everything on there. So if you're the service coordinator too, that's gonna be a good thing to go to see how it's different now.
Right, thank you. Okay, so sign up for training. The second topic that I was given is the Cereal Fest. So we've been talking about this, and so we wanted to do kid site training, kid site testing. So the good news is we have the kid site trailer, and we have somebody to take it downtown for us. Mike Guzak has offered to do that. The bad news, several of us are going to be out of town. So Dorothy and I are going to be out of town. I think Jane and Brian are going to be out of town. Teresa's out of town. And we'd also started talking with the Rotary Club about doing a diabetes partnership with them. And so we need to do some discussion about who's going to be able to help with this, who's going to be able to do the cameras and other work that goes along with doing kid site testing. So we'll be looking for all hands on deck, so to speak. So Mary, maybe you've got a list of people who can help do that. And so, but we have not made a reservation yet. So we have until May 1st to get our name in to get slots. So I think we're gonna have to get 3 slots, 2 for us and then 1 for the Rotary Club. But those exact details haven't been quite worked out yet. So I'll be talking to Teresa about that. And they're fired up about it. I saw a guy at the Rotary at one of at a retirement party for a guy I used to work with, and he says, yeah, they came to our meeting and we're gonna do this thing and with diabetes, and so they're fired up. That's all I have.
Okay, so if you can help on that breakfast festival, make sure to let Roger know. And because the sooner he knows that we're gonna have help and people that can be there to do everything, the sooner we can get our reservation in for that.
We will need a lion because Brian Trainer is also out of commission that weekend. So if you fit in a lion's costume, it's a great way to bring people into the site. So
Yeah. There's a lot of kids, a lot of people downtown. The lion is a big draw for that.
and it can be a
John
family
Stiff
member. It
had
does
the
not
little-
have to be us.
John Stiff had the little lion, put your head through the lion, and that gets a lot of action on the iPhones. So real good time to go down there and plug the lions in our club. So. Okay. All right, thank you, Roger. Mary, just talk about our committees and as we start planning for next year.
I've received a whole lot of people's choices for committees. If you have not given me those, or if you didn't get a form, I have those and I'll be glad to take it. What I am doing with them, I am compiling them by the committee. So when we're all through getting everybody's names, I will give that list to that committee chair, so they'll know who to call and who to depend on. So again, thank you all that have, and if you haven't, I'll be calling.
All right, thank you, Mary. Okay, it's that time. Is our election committee ready?
Basically,
Oh, wait a minute, wait a minute.
oh, okay, that's right. Okay, good news. We approved the sheet as written. Thanks everyone again for taking position. We really appreciate it.
All right, congratulations to all the new officers. I would encourage highly to go to the new training, the district training for your office that's been put together, and especially to see the new LCI program that they're rolling out, because that'll be different next year. So everybody needs to have a handle on what's going on with that. Okay, since we've approved our officers for next year, I do need a motion from the floor to destroy the ballots.
Motion to destroy the.
I second. And, okay, so motion by Jane to destroy the ballots and second by Dee. And all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? All right, thank you very much. All right, they will be destroyed. Okay. And whoever, I think that's it. Okay. Yeah, okay. All right, and I guess we're moving on. Okay, it's program time. Our program tonight is no, all right, Miss Lion Red O'Leary is here program tonight, so let's have a round of applause to hear about Travels with Red.
Thank you. Can you hear me all right? I kind of gotta be able to see this. And see if I can get it with this. All right, pause that right quick.
We're going out.
Let me back it up a little.
Yeah, you don't have to back it up. So back in 2005, so this is a little while ago, and it actually was quite the effort to even find half this information. Because it was stored away in boxes and closets and things like that. So in 2005, I quit my job, sold my house and my car, and decided I was gonna spend some time on the road. I didn't leave the house with much of a plan. I had a ticket to Brazil and I was gonna meet my buddy John down there. And we were planned on going to the Amazon, end of plan. So we did, we got off the airplane. Actually, we met in Sao Paulo, flew up to Manaus. When we got off the airplane, we were accosted by people trying to get us to go on various tours, and we just picked one. So that's how this all starts. Go for it. I leave Kalamazoo and end up down in Manaus. In Manaus, there's this opera house that's gonna play. And basically this opera house, every part of it was imported from Europe. Except for like the chairs were made from local wood. It's quite a beautiful building, and this is right outside of it. It was quite a fancy thing. It's like the Sistine Chapel inside, all that sort of stuff's going on. Oops, this is not playing quite right.
I started over.
That's all right. All right, pause it right there for a second. So once upon a time, is this thing still on?
That's the bottom.
Here we go. So, you know, this thing was built in the late 1800s and, you know, was part of the rubber boom from the Amazon forest there. The roads around it were paved with rubber so that the clip clop of horses' hooves wouldn't make a noise during the operas and things like that. So it's kind of neat bit of trivia. Let it rip. And so next to it also, so this is that, and then next to it is this church, and it's only got one sort of bell tower. That's because it was also shipped from Europe, and the ship carrying that bell tower sank. So, so they just went without. So after that, we got going down the river. And on various boats, kind of like you saw there. This is not a, let's stop right there for a second. That is the mixing of the water. So there's the Rio Negro and the Amazon, they come together there in Manaus. And the black one gets a lot warmer because it's black, and the yellow one doesn't get quite so warm. And it's got a lot of silt in it and the other one doesn't. So it takes a couple miles for them to actually mix together and become just water again. They have different densities, that sort of thing. So we went out and saw the mixing of the waters.
Make sure I got the right mic on here.
Go ahead. All right.
One.
So we did our trip on that boat, and these are some of the people. You know, we just saw lots of wildlife, that sort of thing. So that's my buddy John, and I ended up, wow, this is going fast, slow her down a little bit.
I don't know if I can.
Yeah, there's gonna be a lot of stop and start, I
That's all
guess. We ended up out in the jungle. So this is not like a Viking River cruise. You know, this is pretty rough. But, you know, we just took it in stride and really enjoyed ourselves. You know, you make fast friends with a lot of these guys. And a lot of them I'm still in Facebook contact with, you know, they live all over the world. And some of them I came in contact with again by the end of the trip, you know, whether, you know, a lot of people I met in South America, when I ended up in Europe, if they happen to live in Europe, I visited them again, things like that. So it was a pretty good trip. So go ahead. That was our accommodations. Stop it right there again real quick. So that is a pink Amazon river dolphin. And you could, you know, they came up there because every day they get fed. And I don't have a picture of it, but shortly after that, I hopped in the water, like they give you some frozen fish. And like, I'm treading water best I can. I'm kicking them, all kinds of stuff. And you know, you hold it up like this and they come and they rub right up against your belly to take the fish. You know, it was pretty wild. All right, go ahead. And that is the boat that I took all the way down the Amazon. Stop it there.
Oh my God, I love your sleeping quarters.
And yep, I slept in one room with 100 other people in these hammocks. And so it was not really what I was expecting, but that's what I got. So it was pretty good. And when I got off the boat, there was a young lady with 2 or 3 kids, and I didn't have a need for a hammock anymore, and they were short a couple hammocks. So she didn't speak any English, and I was just trying to give her my hammock, and it took her a minute to warm up to the idea, but she figured it out eventually. Go ahead. And this couple here is Anne Marie and Ben, and she's Dutch, he's Australian. They met down there just and started traveling together. And I think they're currently married and have kids and things like that. But I met them on this boat on, you know, because I took the boat from Manaus all the way to the Atlantic Ocean, so the full length of the Amazon. And Anne Marie and Ben, I just sort of hooked up with them, and we ended up traveling down from the north of Brazil all the way to the south of Brazil. You know, I think I left them in maybe Rio or something. So I spent a lot of time with those two. They were good people. Go ahead. So you can sort of see the track there is the path I went down, and, you know, roughly speaking, just went down the edge of Brazil there. And one place of note, that church looks reasonably plain on the outside, but on the inside, it's completely covered with gold leaf. Like, it's like, the next photo is not my photo, but it was pretty amazing inside of it. You know, like it was blow you away. That's a lot of gold, you know, so that place was pretty cool. So from here, I ended up going all the way down to the border of Argentina and Brazil and to the Iguazu Falls area. So lots of pretty amazing waterfalls there, where I then entered Argentina. And Argentina honestly didn't do a thing. I just got through it. And I came over to the far side of Argentina over here and spent a day or two, but then made my way up into Bolivia. In Bolivia, they got this big area as a salt flat and then in a high desert around here. And I just, you know, at the border, I met another handful of people as we stood in line, and I hooked up with them, and we all traveled through this whole high desert thing together. There they are. And that's, this neck of the woods is where Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid were hiding out, that sort of thing.
So how did you travel in that part of the,
That we hired a guide and
in a vehicle?
just a vehicle. Yeah, it was all of us crammed into that car. Now, this picture here, this is an island in the middle of the salt flats. And it is completely made out of coral. And the altitude here is about 14,000 feet. So at some point, there was an ocean at 14,000 feet to make a coral head out here, you know, pretty amazing. And then this is all just the salt flats, and they have us do these funny little poses where you sort of stand far away to make it look like you're small and standing in the palm of their hands, things like that. And then in uni here, there's, oops, pause her again. That was just a train junkyard. There was like, as old locomotives, you know, steam trains were there. From there, I went up to La Paz, and in La Paz, they have the world's most dangerous road, which is, you know, you go up to the top of a mountain. I mean, it's a mountain pass sort of thing. But they of course let you mountain bike down it. So, so you know, rent a mountain bike for a day, and I got hooked up with a group of Israeli guys who just got out of the army. And, you know, off we went, you just go to the bottom. It's, you know, it's not like it's work, you're just coasting along. But, you know, there's no guardrail, it's all cliff all the time. I was going about 30 miles an hour when I got a flat tire. But it was thankfully not a non-event. But so anyway, that's sort of what you're dealing with. Pause that there. As I left Bolivia on my way to Peru, I took a bus. It's worth noting that I took a lot of buses down there, and a lot of those bus rides were not the best. Roads are rough, to say the least, and some of these bus rides are like 35 hours long. I mean, they're brutal. Because there's like, all told, in South America, I traveled approximately 6,000 miles from Manaus all the way till I left Cusco. So I did a lot of bus driving. And on this bus, we're crossing a river because there's no bridge, and it got stuck in the middle of the river. And we spent the whole night there. Like, it probably got stuck at 10 o'clock at night, and this is the next morning. And enough people showed up to push us out or whatever, and off we like. And it's full of locals who are like, we'll just wait it out. You know, like, this is totally an everyday occurrence for a lot of people, because they were not worried in the least. So anyway, that's, then from here, I moved on to Peru. Now up here is Lake Titicaca. And there is, that's where I entered Peru at, it's on the border between Bolivia and Peru. They have these floating islands made out of reeds, and like the boats are made out of reeds and everything's made out of reeds. So, of course I went out on them and saw all that stuff. Go ahead. Maybe.
Go on a minute here. There you go.
Yeah, so
Oh.
that was,
never-
yeah,
Oh.
I'll pause her right there again. Now that is a 100-foot long steel ship that was built in England, like the Peruvian Navy ordered it or something. And it was built to be disassembled. They shipped it across the ocean, and they shipped it around, so when it landed on the Pacific side, and then they took it, well, it showed up torn apart. They didn't sail it across, they brought it across in boxes. And they loaded those boxes onto a bunch of mules, and up into the mountains they went, because Lake Titicaca is at 12,000 feet or something, so
Wow.
they had to haul every bit of that ship up into the mountains and then reassemble it. And it's still there today, and now it's a B&B or something like that.
It's on the lake. then.
It's on Lake Titicaca, yeah, so, pretty wild.
Huh.
Go ahead. Now, this is in Cusco, and pause that again. Some of the original Inca ruins, they just built right on top of it. It's kind of, there's a lot of earthquakes in that neck of the woods, I guess, or there used to be. So the people the Spaniards, whoever showed up, they figured out, well, we'll just build on top of this stuff that's not falling down, and everything stays together a lot better, and the stonework that the Incas did was really quite remarkable. So from Cusco, I ended up taking the Inca Trail. Pause it right there. That was a 4-day hike, I think, through the mountains. That wasn't terrible, but it wasn't a walk in the park either. This hill I'm at the top of might be 14,000 feet or something like that. And it was easily 5 hours of walking uphill. It never came to the top. Like, it was amazing. Every time you go around a corner, you're like, this has got to be it. No, it's all uphill, So I made it, to say the least. And the worst part was actually going downhill. My knees, I can go uphill all day long, but my poor knees just did not like going downhill. But eventually we got through, and throughout this whole trek, there are various other ruins along the way, but you end up, go ahead, at Machu Picchu. Well, that's pretty nice. So you end up here at Machu Picchu, and pause her there. When you see traditional pictures of Machu Picchu, there's the grounds, and then there's a big edifice of stone up there. Well, that's Huayna Picchu or something like that. And this is on top of that, because I was there with that other guy, Boyan is his name, and I was like, oh, we're never gonna be here again. Let's climb that. Of course, I was 10 years older than everybody. I was 33 here, and everyone else is in their 20s, so they had a little more gusto than I did. But now that I'm in my 50s, I'm like, well, I probably wouldn't do that anymore, So anyway, Machu Picchu was pretty amazing.
How high is that?
It's surprisingly low. I mean, 10,000 feet.
Oh, yeah.
So, so from Cusco, and pause here for a sec. Now, I don't have any evidence at home of ever having been to Central America, so I don't know what happened to all my photos of this neck of the woods. But from Cusco, I bought a ticket to Panama, but my destination was Honduras. Because I was meeting my buddy John again that I met in Manaus. We were gonna go to Roatan and go scuba dive. So I buy a ticket up there and as I'm on the airplane, I realized, oh crap, we're gonna go to Costa Rica, then back to Panama. And then I have to get a bus up to Honduras from there. So when we stopped, we had a little layover in Costa Rica and I just said, get my stuff off that airplane. I'm not backtracking, you know, I didn't want to do a whole extra day in a bus. So they reluctantly let me off the airplane and gave me my stuff. And I found a place to stay that night, hopped on a bus the next day and ended up in Managua, Nicaragua. I had to spend the night there in Managua. And as the bus pulled into town, there were burning tires in the street and all kinds of stuff because there was a tiny little riot going on. So anyway, they had a place for me to stay, so I went and stayed and, you know, I wandered around the streets and they did not recommend me walking around the streets, but I forced it. So I just, you know, I got through the night and in the morning I had to get on the bus at dark 30. And the owners of the little hotel I was in, they didn't speak any English either. But basically they walked me down to the corner and they said, you walk in the center of the street where I can see you to make sure I made it from where I was standing all the way to the bus stop because it was that dangerous around there.
Nicaragua was not safe in 2005.
So yeah, off I went. I eventually made it to Honduras, met up with my buddy. We went scuba diving for a couple days, that sort of thing. And from there, go ahead. I went over to Hawaii. I had a friend living in Hawaii and I spent actually like 2 weeks with Bob. From Hawaii, actually, I had learned in Bolivia. So my new plan was to go to China.
It's all on the same trip. right?
Yep,
Same-
yep, it's so far nonstop. So, a guy told me the best way to get your visa for China is to go to Thailand. So, pause you there for a sec. So I bought a ticket to Thailand and unbeknownst to me, we had a layover in Japan for a little bit. Then there was a layover in Taiwan. In Taiwan, I saw a couple that I had seen on every flight that I've been on that day. And I started chatting them up. I said, what, I guess you guys are going to Thailand. And they're like, oh no, we got another flight after Thailand. We're going to Nepal. And I said, Nepal, how much further is that? And they're like, well, it's only 2 more hours. So that put Nepal on my list of places to go. So I spent a couple weeks here in Thailand. We'll see in a second, couple just shots. All right. From here through Nepal and half of China, I got a couple cameras stolen and things like that. So every photo you see is something I've took off the internet for a little bit here. So, but just to give you an idea, we'll see some stuff, but oops, there's a Temple of Dawn that's in Bangkok there. And there's a big reclining boot. Oh, these boats, these long tail boats. You see, they got a motor, like they got these giant car engines and a direct drive shaft, and they just on a pivot and they just dip the propeller in. This is the reclining Buddha. It's, I don't know, it's 40 meters long or some huge thing. So from there, I went down to the south of Thailand, which had just, like, this is in June thereabouts, pause that. And back in December was when they had that tsunami in December 2004. So, and it was like, this is very near Phuket where that happened, but this area was thankfully unaffected. Now here I took, it was just beautiful there. It's a tropical place. And I took a rock climbing course for a couple days, which unbelievably, like day one, you go out and you climb some rocks. Day two, the guy shows you how to tie a handful of knots, and then he puts his life in your hands and your ability to tie these knots. Because we climb up the rope, like I went first and then I belayed him from above. And then we used one rope But the length we had to climb was longer than 2 ropes, so we had to like use the same rope twice and like, yeah, it's pretty wild. But go ahead. So anyway, I spent a couple days here rock climbing and then back to yeah, that's pretty much what it was like. Back to Bangkok and on to Nepal. Pause it here for a sec. Bangladesh has a weird thing. Well, this has been back on forever if I don't speak. But so in Bangladesh, I had a layover overnight again. And you do this very suspect thing where you give them your passport and they give you like a poker chip. And they take you to a hotel downtown somewhere and you spend the night. And then in the morning, you give them your poker chip and they give you your passport back and off you go. Like, it was still a little bit queasy.
So
So,
you're here. So
yeah, it worked out, yeah. I did that, but 2 there and on the way back, we stopped there too. Go ahead. So, once I got to Nepal, oops, yeah, so, yeah, in Bangladesh, no joke, I saw people riding on top of trains. It was like crazy. In Nepal, I basically bought a map and a guidebook and I flew up into the mountains and was headed towards Everest Base Camp. Now, that's the airport into Lukla. There's a cliff on this side and a wall on that side, so you kind of got to have it together to get to not run into the wall. And then when you leave, you just fly off the cliff. But it's got to be nice weather when you do it. I actually was delayed the better part of a day because it was pretty cloudy out. Go ahead and let it ride. So I made this little Google Earth thing to sort of follow up into the hills here a little bit. We'll see if it can do it. So again, you just start hiking and you get to these little lodges here and there where you stay for the night, then you just continue hiking the next day. It's pretty mountainy up in there. To get to Namche Bazaar is probably the biggest town, if you will, that's up there. And I actually stayed in a lodge that Jimmy Carter had stayed in 1985 or something like that. And so these are that's the sort of bridges that you have to cross when you get to a couple of ravines you gotta go across. And
don't look down.
the houses, that's Namche Bazaar. The lodges are pretty basic. You just get a room, but I paid as little as 35 cents a night and as much as $1.50 a night. So, so it's pretty reasonable. So from there, you continue up. It probably took me the better part of a week of walking this trail. Eventually, you get to Everest Base Camp, and you honestly you can't see Mount Everest from base camp anyway. But it really is striking around there. You know, everywhere you look, there's just some other massive mountain on a clear day. So it was. I lucked out, and the monsoon was late because I went there when it wasn't climbing season, so there was no one around. It was just pretty cool stuff. So Lukla, or excuse me, from Kathmandu back to Thailand, get my visa for China. Excuse me, pop into China. Now in China here, I went to the Guilin Yongshou area or something like that. Really pretty area. However, first night, as I'm dodging river boats and things like that, that's what it looked like there. It was pretty amazing. So I get my bag stolen that has my passport, my money, my everything that's important to me in it. And so from here, we kind of zoom out a little bit. This is where the US consulate is. I spend a couple days there. There it is. And then from there, once I get a little bit of money, oh yeah, hold it right there for a second. So during the couple days I was there, there's a river there with like a park along the whole river. And every morning, there's people out there doing Tai Chi, some doing with fans, some doing it with swords. There's areas where there's 50 or 60 people ballroom dancing. I went there, you guys know what hacky sack is? You kick around a little. So they have a version of hacky sack and, but it's all retired people, you know, but I would join these groups of retired people and play hacky sack with them every morning, you know, they don't speak any English. I don't speak any Chinese, but they were just all friendly. It was really nice. So go ahead. Eventually I make it up to Shanghai, which is halfway up. And Shanghai is just a big city, not much to recommend it. It's not dirty or anything. It's, you know, it's a nice, but it's just a big city. I mostly spent time there waiting for new credit cards to show up and things like that from home. Eventually I make it up to Beijing, where the goal of coming to China was to see, hold it right there for just a sec, was ultimately to see the Great Wall, but in Beijing, you could go to the Forbidden City, and that's what some of this stuff is. I eventually make it to the Great Wall, and it is aptly named. It really was impressive, and probably hiked a 5-mile section of it or something like that. Hold it, so those boys there, one of them, again, Facebook, thank you, Facebook. You know, I'm still, you know, he came and visited me here in Michigan maybe 3-4 years ago or something like that, you know. So you were able to stay in contact with these people like never before. So I hiked this, and it's like 100 degrees this day. It was crazy. And the best way to get off of the Great Wall is, of course, by zip line. So
Quickest way.
yeah.
And it's cool.
So from here, I go to Denmark. This is a 13-hour flight, and pause it right there for just a hot second. And it turns out that everyone in Denmark that is getting a brand is what do you call it? Adopting a Asian baby, does it in Beijing and flies to on the flight I was on, because it was 10,000 babies who couldn't equalize their ears with new parents, and it was just nonstop crying for 13 hours. So it was pretty good. Now in Denmark, I didn't do a terrible, incredible amount of stuff, but in Europe, I was largely just a tourist. You know, you'll see that I just did your average touristy thing, traveled around by train primarily. I wanted to, you know, when I got to Hamburg, I stayed one night in Hamburg and said, how do I get to the Disneyland castle thing? And she said, that's down in Munich. So off to Munich I went. Neuschwanstein is the name of the place. And, oh, hold it right there, actually. So while I was in, you know, everywhere else I've been is you just show up and hope for the best. A little less so in Denmark. I was on the verge of sleeping in the bushes because I'm wandering around waiting for dark because I couldn't get a room anywhere. And this couple that was out pushing their baby around in a stroller, they see me wandering around and they're like, are you lost? You need something? What's going on? And I was like, yeah, there's nowhere to stay. And they're like, just a minute. And they went home and they got a tent and they picked me up and they took me to a campground. And I spent the night in that tent right there. And then in the morning, they came and got me and took me to a bus station. You know, it was the best
Sounds
thing.
like New Zealand.
So anyway, off I go and down into Germany from here. And then we'll let it catch up a little bit. So it's quite the trip down to Germany. I get to Munich and it rains for 10 days straight. So I just waited out. I got nothing, nowhere to be. So like I said, I was in Hamburg and I wanted to see that dang castle on a nice day. In the meantime, I did end up going to that's the Glockenspiel in Munich. I went to Dachau, which was a concentration camp, and that was a pretty somber experience. But that's worth going to if you ever get the chance. And so finally I make it to the crazy big castle. It's really fancy inside and out. Not supposed to take pictures, but I snuck one. So from there, my main goal of coming to this all together, hold it right there if you can. I don't know if you can see that blue outline very well. But that is Andorra, tiny little country. That was one of the few places that was on my list of like, we have a big world map at work. And I was studying it one day and I was like, Andorra, never heard of it. And so I had to go there. Andorra is tiny. It's the 16th smallest country in the world, I believe. And it's up in the mountains. It's kind of like the Delaware of Europe. There's a bit of a tax advantage to buying things there. So I spent a couple days in Andorra, mostly to say I did. And from there, I head up to Paris. Go ahead. Oh yeah, this is in Barcelona, my bad. Barcelona is pretty. Again, it's a big city, but it's got lots of cool stuff. It's worth spending your time there. This is Andorra. Must be a ski place. And from there, like I said, up to Paris and points beyond. Eiffel Tower was as impressive as it should have been, so I was pleased with that. And Arc de Triomphe, also very cool. Notre Dame. Gargoyles.
Before it burned,
Yeah, before it burnt, yeah. This is outside the Louvre, that's inside the Louvre. And on to Amsterdam, where I met up with Anne Marie and Ben again from the Amazon trip. Ben and I went on a play date. Then to Northern Ireland here, and that's where the Titanic was built. And these are murals from the Troubles with the Northern Ireland and the Catholics and Protestants stuff. This is the Giant's Causeway. It's just a crazy way that the lava dried as it came out somehow. On to England. This is in, Paul's that there? Where's Nottingham? So that was in Nottingham. And this couple here, I did the Inca Trail with them. So met up with them. We did some rock climbing and bouldering and things like that around England. You know, they showed me around a little bit and did some probably not wise things. Down to London, did touristy things in London for a couple days, and then it was on to Egypt. So that was another little hop.
Yeah.
So I get here and honestly, for some reason, I wasn't blown away by the pyramids, but they weren't not cool. It's just I wasn't blown away by them for some reason. And there's the Sphinx and all that stuff. I took this trip out into the middle of nowhere again, an overnight trip, you know, hired the guides and all that stuff. And the white desert, all that stuff is just eroded by the wind and whatnot. And so that ended my trip in Egypt. Pause it there for just a hot sec. So from Egypt, I came home for a couple of, actually like maybe 6 weeks or something like that, because my grandpa O'Leary was sick and didn't think he was going to make it till I got home. So I came home for a couple of weeks and spent some time with grandpa.
How long had you been traveling up to this point?
At this point, this is, I think it's late September and I left in February. So, and to be honest, yeah, it's grueling and you got to see pretty amazing stuff being pressed anymore after a while.
Yeah.
You know, so, anyway, home for a little bit, spend some time with the family, and then I head back to Kenya. When I get to Kenya, once again, no plan. So somebody talks me into going on a safari, which turns out the safari is amazing. Like I would highly recommend a safari. Go ahead. You just see like everything, everybody lives together. Like, you know, if you're accustomed to imagining a zoo where there's lions over here and something else, like everybody just walks around. You just drive around and you see all this stuff everywhere you go. It was really crazy. And it's like, you can reach out and touch some of these animals. I mean, they're right there. Like,
Oh, look.
so this little guy, pause it there for a sec. You know, apparently elephants will do their best to not leave anybody behind, but this little guy just wasn't making it.
Oh.
And so his mom eventually gave up and they're like, well, the lions will be here shortly if we don't do something. So we loaded him up into a van and they took him back to a place where he could get rehabbed and so in an effort to save him. So we'll hope that he was saved. That's just some people, and there's the Maasai, and they do their crazy high jumps. From, oh yeah, the last of these guys. From Kenya, I went down into Tanzania, and that was quite the, I actually paused it there for a hot sec. So I had a misunderstanding at the border between Kenya and Tanzania. I didn't have my paperwork in order. So they sent me packing and I went back to the hotel I'd been staying at for a couple days. And they said, you know, so I get off the road and you have to take a taxi from the main road down to the thing. And people I'd never seen before saw me come back and said, I thought you were going to Tanzania today. So like, I was back in Kenya. And so they like, people are watching you everywhere you go, and somehow they knew my business. That was a bit creepy. So anyway, I get down to Tanzania, and I go out to Zanzibar. There is the island off of Tanzania, really beautiful, and birthplace of Freddie Mercury from Queen.
Yeah.
And go ahead. So it's, you know, the island is amazing, but it's part of the spice trade and slave trade stuff, but beautiful turquoise waters and just a nice couple days. Pause her there. That's Susan Mashivi. She worked at Duncan Aviation for a couple of years, but she is Tanzanian. And she moved back to Tanzania and started a business over there. And so, you know, I've actually been there twice. And both times you can just get a hold of Susan and she makes sure everything's okay. So Susan's a rock star. And shortly after this, we head to Mount Kilimanjaro and Susan sort of arranged all that for us. Go ahead. So there's Mount Kilimanjaro in the background and pause her there. That guy is Bill Gephardt. He was, at the time, the director of maintenance at Duncan Aviation, so he was my boss. He came over and met me up and off we go to try to climb Kilimanjaro. Ultimately, Bill is successful. I am not. I got altitude sickness. I have trouble with altitude. And so I ended up turning back and I was like, "Oh, Bill, get going, you know, that's you're probably only coming here once." I ended up going back in 2007 and doing it again. Still got terrible altitude sickness, but I made it to the top. So
How high is it?
it's 19,000 and change. Yeah. And
14,000 didn't bother you?
no,
when you were
well,
14?
when I was up in like the high mountain area in Peru and Bolivia, it was way more gradual getting there.
Oh.
So this, you know, here I came directly from sea level. A day later, I'm in, you know, that was the hard part. So anyway, Mount Kilimanjaro is quite pretty. Go ahead. And lots of pretty stuff to see. You're above the clouds there. Hold her there. So that was the end of the line for me. This Kibo hut was where I think that you get up at midnight or something like that and head up to the summit. So Bill got up at midnight. I got up and was puking my guts out. And and I walked down, you know, I was not going any further. So they sent me with a guide and we walked down and, you know, the funny, like you get down to even just 12,000 feet and you're hungry again and you feel great. And it's like altitude is really, really weird. So that was the end of my effort to get to top of Mount Kilimanjaro. After Kilimanjaro, I went home. Sorry that took so long. I was in my head that was gonna go faster.
How many total days were you going?
I never did the math, but basically, I mean, I quit my job in February and left immediately. And then I was home maybe December 17th or something like that. So from February to December, whatever that is. And honestly, and you know, I took, I stayed in hostels everywhere I went, you know, I almost never had a hotel room. You know, a proper hotel room. I was often sharing rooms and whatnot. So, you know, all told, I bet you I spent $22,000 or something like that.
Wow.
And but probably the bulk of that was airline tickets, you know, because it just everywhere I went was just cheaper than hell. And you know, food, you know, you get to a developing country and it's easy sailing. Getting there is the hard part. Once you're there, it's cheap. So as long as you don't mind slumming it, which I of course don't mind. So that's, and for me, the real adventure was that I showed up everywhere with no plan. I got to Thailand at 1 a.m. I didn't know what kind of currency they had. I didn't know where to go. I just walk over to an ATM, stick my card in, hope for the best. And then try to go find a place to stay. So that was my MO everywhere I went. And yeah, it's fun. And the one time it didn't work out, it worked out because the people in Denmark found me a place to stay. So. All right, so sorry that took so long. But that's yeah. Any questions?
Thank you.
How many shoes or boots did you wear out?
Just one, and I only took one pair with me and
No way.
they made it, you know, I go up, I wear sandals as much as anything. So I might have gone through more than one pair of sandals, but boots,
Wow.
one pair.
a backpack?
Yeah, I ended up with just a sort of a large duffel bag, what ended up being the easiest. And yeah, I traveled reasonably light as well, you know.
Did you leave stuff behind and just get new things if you needed it? or-
Sometimes I did, I just bailed on, you know, it's just easier to leave it than deal with it.
Did you go to the Nationalist China Museum in Taipei?
No,
It's amazing.
yeah,
I've been there. Yeah.
no, just pass through that Nicolet Woods.
The time when you were in Nicaragua, that was a frightening time. I can't believe they let you go in there.
Yeah, I was like, the bus stopped, you know, to get into Nicaragua. Everybody's stuff came off the bus on a table. The German Shepherd walks down the table, sniffing for drugs, like the whole 9 yards. So it was, well, you know, but nothing bad happened, so it was all right.
That's one of the closest places to go.
Place you would like to go back to?
I would really like to, I really enjoyed Bolivia for some reason. Now, the altitude's not gonna agree with me, but I would go back and see some of that again. And in 2009, my wife and I went down to Peru again, went to like Machu Picchu and saw the Nazca lines and stuff like that. We went to a wedding down there. So and that was something like, I thought I would never be at Machu Picchu again, and now I've been there twice. But so I would, like, South America is really nice. You can't sort of go wrong down there, but also like I'd go to Tanzania again and Kenya. You know, I'd probably explore more of Africa if I had a chance. The thing with Europe is it's quite beautiful, but it's just big cities and, you know, there's lots of history and it's expensive. It is expensive. You know, I spent as much in 2 months there as I spent the whole rest of the year everywhere else probably. So it's crazy.
I want to know when your book's coming out.
No books.
Travelog was great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All
All
right,
right. Well,
thank you,
thanks.
Red. All right, so lots of good travel and information from Red. Thanks for sharing with that. If, as you look for next year and ahead on your programs, We have lots of lions. Everybody here has a story and there's a lot of, topics and programs that we can have right with our own club members. So, don't discount that that's out there. And, okay, I think it's game time, right? So Mike and actually Red have the games tonight, so, Diane? Got the membership drawing, Derek Dean. I think he was here.
Yeah. All right. Let's
All right, congratulations, Derek.
Derek Dean. Dennis Green, yeah. All right. We'll write you an IOU for that, it's coming. Card draw.
Card draw, your blue tickets.
Got 3, 5, 8, 9.
3, 5, 8, 9.
That's Dorothy. Dorothy. Yeah.
Dorothy Bossy.
All right, Dorothy, here we go.
How big's this pile today?
I don't know.
Oh, no, that pile, that's a big
Oh,
pile.
yeah, it's a big
Sorry.
pile, yeah, yeah. Ace of spades, where is it? Oh,
Queen of Hearts.
You can say it out.
Queen of Hearts rolls over for another time. And then we got the 50-50.
Yeah.
Okay, we got 5, 5, and 7.
All right, 50-50 is $5, $5, and $7.
What's the draw for this?
Okay, red tickets.
Red tickets. 3175.
3175. Maureen's got it over there, Bob Orr. Yeah.
$5. Yeah, I'll pick the next one, get another 5. $3194.
3194.
In front of Muriel.
3194 red ticket.
After me, now 3191. 3194. 3194.
There it is.
Red's a winner.
$7.
Muriel hasn't won for a couple of weeks. Time for her to go.
3211.
3211. Jane.
All right.
All right.
So I figure how much Gary can.
All right, thanks, guys, for that. Maureen, we got Happy Bucks.
Okay. Everyone always wants to know.
I'll start us off. One for the program tonight. That was amazing. Good job. one for Red and for Mike for putting together the nominations tonight and taking care of all of that. And one for our club. It's an awesome club.
Thank you.
Don't forget your stuff.
I have one for Red. That was very interesting. Great, great program. Thank you. And one for the eclipse, because that was a pretty big deal this week.
One for Red in the program. That was great. How did you end up back in Battle Creek?
Good luck.
Needed money.
Yeah, exactly. Needed a job.
One for Retta in the program. I can't believe that you could do all that. And I don't know if you had it planned at all. I mean, wow. Anyway, how did you get your passport back?
The consulate in China, you just basically, I had a police report saying it was stolen and it's almost a no questions asked, so yeah, we know.
Not like the
Have the
United
best
States.
Yeah. Anyway.
And one for our club. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
No, that's not-
Red, you make me look like I don't do anything. I always thought I was pretty adventurous, but you make me look like I just sit around on satin sheets. But I don't think that I could sleep with 100 people, especially if they snored. The other one is for Muriel. I wish you well on your surgery. I know you're gonna do great. You got a good surgeon. Things are gonna go well. And this club is amazing. I look around this group of people and all the things that you do each week and each month and all these events. I am so proud to be affiliated with all of you.
One for Red, thank you for the pictures. I knew I was gonna get to see them sooner or later. Good job. Exactly.
Thank you. This one's from Muriel. You'll be in my thoughts and prayers, and if you need anything, you know, you have a whole club you can call.
Okay, here's three, one for Red, fantastic. I'm driving a lot and you've hit a lot of spots I've never got anywhere near. That was awesome. One for Dawn, she finished all her infusions, so 100% complete. This weekend, we're gonna head up to Traverse City and celebrate a little bit, take a nice weekend and relax. So got that. And then the third is I'm gonna roll with Jane here at the eclipse. We went and took the grandkids. My son-in-law's dad is big into astronomy, so he took a 9-inch telescope with us and we went down into Ohio where it was 100% totality. And everybody got to see it, so that was kind of fun.
Wow, good. Ready here?
Okay, here's money. Okay, Red, this is a fabulous program. You need to sign out to a lot of clubs. People would love to hear your story. Oh my gosh. And Teresa and Hope and Muriel, we wish you well. And as Diane said, we're all here for you. Anything you need. And my last one was, this is kind of my own thing that I found out I do not have to have surgery. We're not gonna do any fusions for a long time, if ever. My physical therapy is being very successful. So that's my big thing.
Very good. Great. I'll be right with you.
Okay, I've got one for Red. It was nice to see my local pub in Nottingham again. And one for our two members that are going to be district officers next year.
$2 for Red. That was just a fabulous show, Red.
Did I get everybody?
Thank you for it. Let's see, oh yeah, one, because yesterday was our anniversary, 16 years. And then one for just, all the new slate of officers that have all signed up to be part of the club. Thanks.
Thank you. I passed you up earlier.
Well, I didn't have any money,
Oh.
so I give you an IOU. Dorothy maybe can give you some money. She doesn't let me have any. But anyway, I won $1 for Red. That was a great show. That was a great program, stuff that I would love to do and never had the guts to do it. So, you know, it takes a lot to do something like that. And $1 for healing, okay? For Muriel, after she gets her back done, she's gonna be healed up and she's gonna be good to go on the highway pickup and doing all those things. And then for Harriet, for the good success she's having. And then another one for our 2 future officers, district officers, Hope and Teresa. You guys are gonna do great.
Very good, thank you.
There's your $3.
Okay, thanks everybody here for coming tonight. Great show, Red. And there's a lot of stuff going on. We talked about that. Make sure to check out the sign-up sheets on your way out. Check your upcoming events on the back of your agenda that have been sent out. At least something every week going on. So appreciate everybody being involved and all the fun we're gonna have and good things with that. So, all right, drive careful going home.
Brian.
Thanks, Ryan.